What's up everyone, this is James Hernandez. How you all doing today? And welcome to a brand new video about video games. Now for today I'm going to be reviewing a PlayStation 1 game that I played in my childhood and I also still play to this day. And that is called Spider-Man. Now this Spider-Man game came out in 2000 for the PlayStation 1. It was made by Activision and it was also made by Neversoft, who also did like the Tony Hawk games. So this story of this Spider-Man game centers around Peter Parker, who is watching Otto Octavius at the Science Expo when Dr. Otto Octavius was talking about his technology, and Eddie Brock, who is also in the audience with Peter Parker, is taking pictures. But then the imposter Spider-Man came, he beats up the security guards, and he pretty much stole the technology from Otto Octavius, and then it broke Eddie Brock's camera when Eddie was trying to get pictures of the imposter Spider-Man. And then he breaks the camera, and then Eddie Brock bonds with the Venom symbiote, thinking that it was Spider-Man who was responsible for stealing the technology, so he wants to get his revenge on Spider-Man. But then meanwhile, the real Spider-Man is like looking for this doppelganger, as he has to deal with stuff that he has to do. Like he has to save the hostages from the bank when Black Cat tells him that he has to go to the bank to save lives from the J Syndicate. And then Spider-Man also has to fight like other villains that will also appear in this game, and he also bumps into other heroes, and he also has to stop someone who was like causing the fog around the city. And there was also a symbiote invasion that was going on, and it's all up to Spider-Man to stop the fog and stop the symbiote invasion and go after who is responsible for the whole mess. So this game, I first played it for the PlayStation 1. It was given to my parents, and this was also like one of my first introductions to Spider-Man, along with Spider-Man the Animated Series, as well as the 2002 Spider-Man movie from Sam Raimi, which I already reviewed. So after like playing this game for like how many years that this game came out in the 2000s, and then when I played this like right now in 2025, what do I think of this game? I still think this Spider-Man game really holds up for the PlayStation 1. Now there are some like little nitpicks I have with the game, but like always, I'm gonna start with the positives first, and then later on I'll get into the negatives. So first, let's talk about the graphics. Now, I know the graphics from the PlayStation 1 games doesn't look too spectacular nowadays, but the graphics in this game actually does really hold up, and the character designs, like for the most part, actually looks pretty good. And I still think that that the graphics actually does look like it does belong. Like it looks like the 3D version of the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, as well as it does look like you're seeing an actual comic book video game adaptation coming to life. And I thought the graphic designers from this game actually did a really good job, especially with the level designs throughout the game. The next thing I want to talk about is the controls. Now, when you control Spider-Man, it's actually pretty easy. Like you basically just like you move Spider-Man when he runs, and then you climb on walls. Where you just like swing to the wall, or you just like run to the wall, and then the game let Spider-Man climb on the wall for you. You don't have to press the button to climb on the wall. It does it for you. And the punches and the kicks that Spider-Man performs while he was like fighting like a bunch of like enemies throughout the game, not just his rogues gallery, but the enemies like the henchmen, the J Syndicate, the lizard men that you go into the sewers where you're chasing Venom, and also on the symbiotes when you actually go into the Daily Bugle when it was all deserted. The combos is actually very good. It is actually very easy and very basic for Spider-Man to perform when he like fights a bunch of bad guys. And I still think the controls is actually pretty good. Well, for the most part. The only thing I didn't really like about the controls is the swinging mechanics. Is because Spider-Man usually like will shoot his web swing like twice. You can't the game doesn't let you like let Spider-Man swing around like in other cities, just like in the other Spider-Man games like after this. And that's like the only thing I kind of didn't like about the controls is the swinging mechanics. I thought that the swinging mechanics was kind of weak, but that's not to say it was terrible. You know, but because like I said, the controls in this game actually does really hold up. Now let's talk about the bosses. Now, the bosses, there are 7 bosses in this game. You first fight Scorpion, which you have to like fight him to save J. Jonah Jameson when you had to arrive to the Daily Bugle. Even though J. Jonah Jameson despises Spider-Man, but you still have to save him from the Scorpion. Otherwise, J. Jonah Jameson will lose his life. So when you fight the Scorpion, it's actually pretty easy. Like you just have to like get close to him, and you basically have to like just like do all these like combos and kicks, and then you have to avoid his attacks when he comes after you, and then you have and while you still save J. Jonah Jameson. The second one is the Rhino. Now the Rhino boss battle is so hilarious, and the reason why is because like right after when the Rhino attacks Black Cat, Spider-Man has to fight the Rhino just by making him run over, coming after you, and then you jump, and then you had to like get him to like ran towards like the volts of electricity, and he gets electrocuted so hilarious because because the Rhino is actually so dim-witted that he definitely does not have like the brains like some of the other villains do in Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery. So the Rhino fight was actually not that hard as well. It was actually pretty easy. You just got to make Rhino like like run after you, and then you have to charge into something that actually makes him so incredibly dim-witted and really dumb. Now the third one is Venom. Now here's the thing about Venom. So remember like in the beginning of the cutscene of the game where Eddie Brock thought Spider-Man stole the technology? Well, it turns out that that Spider-Man didn't. And that's where Spider-Man and Venom have like a misunderstanding fight. So when you first fight Venom like in the back alley after you have to chase him through the city when Venom is invisible to Spider-Man's spider sense. And it is actually really fun to like fight Venom, and then you get to fight Venom again when you're in the sewers when Spider-Man realizes that Venom has kidnapped his wife, Mary Jane Watson. And then after when you defeat Venom and save Mary Jane, Spider-Man told Venom that it wasn't him who stole the technology. It was someone who was trying to frame him. And that's where Venom realizes that Peter Parker, also known as Spider-Man, the real Spider-Man, was in the crowd with him the whole time. So that's where Venom and Spider-Man team up to fight to go after the imposter, and then Venom also has to go look for Carnage as well, who is also responsible for the whole mess. And now we get into the let's see, the fifth one. Yeah, and the fifth one is Mysterio. And that's where it turns out that the evil doppelganger of Spider-Man turns out to be Mysterio in disguise. So, and then when you fight Mysterio, he's basically like a giant size version of himself. And then you have to like attack Mysterio while all the buttons around his body parts. Like, I don't know why, but that's how the game shows us, and that's what you got to do when you fight Mysterio in this game. And then after you defeated Mysterio, Spider-Man goes into the Waterhouse warehouse with the help of Frank Castle, also known as the Punisher. And then Spider-Man goes to the underwater trench where he realizes that that the fog has been coming from, and then he wants to know who's responsible for this madness. So while he turns the fog off, he sees that Black Cat actually did survive the attack from the Rhino, and then Black Cat told Spider-Man that she has been drugged by one of the guys that took her to the ambulance. And then she woke up there, and then when she gets to see Spider-Man again, when she sees Spider-Man again, she was really happy to see him, and Spider-Man was also happy to see her as well. So then like after Spider-Man turns off the fog, Black Cat escapes, and then Black Cat goes to find help, while Spider-Man goes to see who is responsible for this whole fog and the symbiote invasion. And then it turns out that during the climax of the game, it turns out that it was Dr. Otto Octavius the whole time with the help of Carnage. And then Venom shows up to help Spider-Man, and then Venom and Carnage has like a fight with each other while Spider-Man fights Dr. Octopus. Now the fight with Doc Ock is actually pretty, it's not really frustrating. It can be a bit frustrating at times because there were moments like you basically would just get stuck in a glitch when you have to like press like the off button to get like the shield out of Doc Ock. And then when you defeated Doc Ock, he's down for the count. And then Carnage actually managed to throw Venom at the distance where Spider-Man is. So then Spider-Man was checking on Venom to see if he's okay. He's asking him, Eddie, are you all right? Talk to me. Wake up. And then Venom was trying to warn Spider-Man that Carnage is about to grab him. So he was like, look out, Parker, look. And then Spider-Man doesn't know what Venom was talking about. But then Carnage grabbed Spider-Man, and then he was like pulling him towards him. And that's what get into the sixth boss battle where he had to fight Carnage. Now, Carnage in this game is like so crazy, and he's ridiculous. Like, you have to be really careful, like when Carnage is like throwing all these like ninja shurikens at Spider-Man. And whenever, like, when Carnage was like shooting his like those like red ninja shurikens at Spider-Man, I was like, man, like that guy was like throwing ninja shurikens at Spider-Man. Naruto would be proud. Like, it kind of reminds me like a bit like something like out of Naruto when Carnage was like throwing stuff at Spider-Man. So when Spider-Man defeated Carnage, when he like kicks him or punches him through this like this sonic like it's like a sonic vibration bubble, I think it's called, and then it defeats Carnage, and then after when the Carnage symbiote gets out of Cleus Cassidy, then we thought like everything was over until you see this.
Whoa! What the? Is that Ock?
Yep, it's Monster Ock. And Monster Ock is not even a comic book character throughout the... He's not even a comic book character. It's like a original character that you have like never expect to see from a Spider-Man game. And that is also like... And Monster Ock is one of those characters that is responsible for like giving like the 90s and the 2000s kids nightmares. And when I first like saw Monster Ock when I was a kid, it literally scares the crap out of me. And then, unlike the other bosses throughout the game, you cannot even fight Monster Ock because Doc Ock's his own base is actually gonna blow up. So then Spider-Man was like, "Oh no, this place is gonna blow. I gotta get out of here." And this is like the whole chase sequence where Monster Ock is chasing after Spider-Man. And when I was a kid, when I played that level, when he had to escape from Monster Ock, it was so difficult that I cannot even like figure out how to escape. But then when I play this game nowadays, it actually tends to be really easy. That all you have to do is like go into each like one of the levels, and then you had to web zip, you had to web swing all the time. And then after when Spider-Man escaped, not only that that the Carnage symbiote saved Doc Ock, but Doc Ock actually managed to survive the explosion. And then Spider-Man actually escaped really quickly while he carries Doc Ock. And then Spider-Man was rescued by Black Cat, Captain America, and Venom. And then Venom was like asking Spider-Man if he could get Captain America's autograph. And then Spider-Man was like, oh, brother. because they make Venom in this game so hilarious. He's definitely like not the most menacing version of himself from the other incarnations of Spider-Man from the cartoons as well as in the video games and the comics, because this Venom is pretty much like the anti-hero, and he's pretty much like somewhat of a good person, even though like he did something really dumb before he realizes that it was just a misunderstanding right after Spider-Man defeats Venom in order to save Mary Jane. So, and then the game ends like with Spider-Man, Daredevil, the Punisher, and Captain America are playing I think they're like playing, yeah, they're playing Go Fish. And then we have this little dance sequence with Black Cat and the Human Torch dancing to the radio. And then we got to see the villains in jail. And then like Rhino was like being so dumb and so stupid that he thought that he won the poker game when he says, "Oh hey, look, I got a bingo. Oh, guess what? I'm smarter. I'm smarter than you guys." And then he's just like being so hilariously dumb. And then he realizes he made a mistake. And then we saw the last shot of the villains in jail when Doc Ock was banging his head on the jail pipe. And I was like, I know, Doc Ock. I know. I understand. It sucks. And that was the end of the game. So yeah, so overall, like this Spider-Man game, I really do think it really holds up. And this is actually by far like one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games I have ever played. And I really still enjoy playing this game to this day, and I do think it holds up. I thought the graphics was pretty good, even though some of the characters like when they speak, their mouths don't really like move except for Venom and Carnage. But to be fair, it is a PlayStation 1 game, and I know like the technology back then wasn't like that spectacular, unlike the technology that we have nowadays. And I thought the graphics is actually really good for a PlayStation 1 game, and I do think that the developers did a good job. The level designs, I thought it looks very very good. It kind of looks like you're reading a comic book, or even like watching the 3D version of the Spider-Man 90s cartoon. And I do think it's pretty cool. And the bosses were really fun. Like the bosses, I have no problem with any of the bosses in the game. And it was also really cool to see like other Marvel heroes appear in this game, like Black Cat, Human Torch, Daredevil, the Punisher, and then Captain America by the end of the game. And then I also like that Venom turns good when he realizes that Spider-Man was telling Venom the truth, that he didn't stole the technology during Otto Octavius' Science Expo. So then it really makes me like want to include Venom like on the hero side with the other Marvel heroes that are helping Spider-Man to like go on like location to location to fight other villains. And yeah, and Monster Rock is so scary. And still to this day, he is actually one of the creepiest and not unnecessary. I'm sorry. One of the most unexpected moments that you have ever experienced in a video game. It's so ridiculous. So I actually really do think that Activision and Neversoft actually did a really good job with this Spider-Man game. And I do think and what I also really like about this game is that Stan Lee actually narrates, and it makes me feel it just makes me feel like a kid again, because I miss Stan Lee very much, and Marvel nowadays would not be the same if it wasn't for Stan Lee, because it's a shame that Stan Lee is no longer with us, and Marvel doesn't feel the same without him nowadays. Now the fact that he's gone. But when Stan Lee narrates, it just makes me feel like so nostalgic, and it just brought a lot of tons of memories. And this game really does brought a lot of memories, and it makes me feel like a fantastic fan of Spider-Man. So, so yeah, overall, I thought the voice acting was good. I thought the controls were pretty good for the most part, and I thought it has a very good story. I like that they have like other characters that were like helping Spider-Man. It's got really good bosses, and yeah, so this is actually a very good Spider-Man game. If you guys haven't played this Spider-Man game, I would actually say you should definitely go try this game out. And if you're a huge fan of Spider-Man, if you really want to see like a Spider-Man game where it goes like from location to location, this is the game that I actually would recommend to every Spider-Man fan, even like the fans of the '90s Spider-Man animated series, especially if you grew up with this game for nostalgia. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man game a solid 8.9 out of 10. I still think this is a really good Spider-Man game. Even for a PlayStation 1 game, I still think it really holds up, in my opinion. So folks, that's my review for the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man game. I would like to hear what you guys think of this game. Have you guys played this game? If so, what did you guys think of it? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? What did you think of the voice acting? What did you think of the story? Do you think it holds up to this day? Or do you think the game just doesn't age very well? Comment below, let me know. And feel free to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and turn on the notifications. And stay tuned that I'm going to be reviewing the next Studio Ghibli film, My Neighbor Totoro. So stay tuned for that one if you guys have seen my community posts of future stuff I'm going to be working on. So I just did a review for Spider-Man, the PlayStation 1 game. Sorry for lip syncing. So I just reviewed this game, and then the next video I'm going to be reviewing is My Neighbor Totoro from Studio Ghibli from Hayao Miyazaki. So stay tuned for that, and hope you guys enjoy my review for the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man game, and I'll see you guys next time along with Spider-Man and Venom. Take care.